What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. And tonight we are talking a little Ascendance Live, Season 3, Episode 4. And I'm here with Scott. Scott, what is up? How have you been? What's going on?
Not too much is up. Been good. Can't believe it's already episode 4. Feels like we just began. I guess still early, but yeah, it's been good on my end. How are you doing, Duke?
I'm doing good. I'm super excited to talk to you about Ascendance again. It's been a minute since we've done that. Um, Obviously, you were part of the draft, but we haven't talked about an episode since all the way back in season 3, 2.
Yeah. I can't even remember. Yeah, too. I can't even remember if it was mid-season or anything. It feels like
It
a
was.
lot.
But tonight we are here and we have the third boot of the season, Erica. Gone
Mhm.
too soon. Um, but before we get into everything that happened in this episode, who are you vibing with so far in the season? Who are you liking and who are you maybe not liking?
There's a couple standouts for me that I knew before the game, so I was rooting for them, and I haven't changed my mind. Taylor's still my number one girl. Love Taylor. I feel like she's doing a really great job socially. Tonight was the first night that she was in danger of getting voted off, but that's just because she lost for the first time. But she's been killing it, doing great. Also played with Rocky in Ascendance for my brief stint on one of the seasons. And I've been rooting for him. I feel like he was in a little bit of turmoil this episode, but it really didn't gain any traction. So I think that that's showing that he's doing a really great job. Really impressed with Sarah. I feel like she's very mothering whenever people are coming to her and calming the some of the train wrecks that are about to happen. And she's like, we're good. So I feel like she's been doing a good job about that. Ozzy has been, I noticed tonight, especially that he's playing a very good game as well. So definitely some standouts. Some people are letting maybe the game get to them a bit. And I'm starting,
Yeah.
yeah,
You
starting to see
mentioned train wrecks. You mentioned train wrecks a little bit.
yeah. A
Who's a
lot of
train
tears
wreck?
shed, a lot of tears shed tonight.
A lot of tears shed for sure. It's an
uh,
emotional game, I guess.
Crazy. This early, only probably more tears to come.
A lot of tears to come, a lot of tears in this episode, a lot of hugs going on the way out. It's
Yeah.
just a, feel good cast, I guess.
Family of traitors. It's a
Yeah,
family that want to kill each other.
and they're doing it. They're doing it for sure. So we started off the episode with the captain's challenge, where I guess the duo you kind of joined forces with a player in the game, and you threw sponges at each other, and then you tried to get the water into a bucket.
They
So
was it
what's that?
random? Did they? It wasn't chosen. I feel like they just like skipped right to it. Did they pick their teams or was it randomized? Do you know?
I assumed that it was you pick your partner, but I'd have to go back and watch and see if it was randomized because
Well, I don't think
I'm
they showed
just
because I did rewind to see. I don't know if you
okay.
had inside intel.
They don't give me any intel, man. That's crazy. But Keaton, who has been a hot topic in these first 3 episodes, was safe. It seems like he was the house target, and he comes up with a dub. So it seems like, would you assume that if Keaton was eligible to be voted out, he would have been here?
I was gonna say the house target. It's a familiar position for young Keaton. So I think that he was feeling good whenever they pulled that win out because I do think that he would in fact have been targeted. And I don't know, third time's a charm for the cast. Maybe it would have been curtains for old Keaton. But I'm not, I feel like because he was able to kind of keep quiet, and as he said in the episode, he was sort of letting his people that he wanted to be working with get targeted. I think that it might do him well moving forward because he seems someone a little bit more malleable, someone that they might be able to work with a little bit closer with. So I think this was a good round for him, especially utilizing that win to hopefully project his game a little bit further.
Do you think that the target that he created in the first 2 rounds for himself no matter whether he becomes safe in the next couple rounds, whenever he becomes unsafe, do you think he's just going to be an option?
I think that I'm someone that thinks that you can speak things into existence. And I
Mm.
think that he thinks that he is a bigger target than he would be if he didn't keep thinking that he's going to be the name every time. So I think that if he was able to calm it down, really start working with someone, working with a group of people, I think that he could get out of that position. But he does seem like he has a lot of frenetic energy. So I'm not sure. I don't have high hopes that he's going to be able to just not win and be completely safe. I think that his name's always going to be something that's going to get tossed around, especially since it's already been tossed around a few times. For instance, tonight when Erica and Rory were sort of having that crying moment and just looking at each other, not being able to give a name, feels like it could have been Keaton's name if he wasn't he wasn't safe. I feel like they would have been like, maybe Keaton.
Yeah, I agree. I wish that Keaton had played the first two rounds like he played tonight, like he was safe, you know? Would have been
I
probably.
think that it would have showed a lot of growth from the previous season, and really he would have been a surprise because I think that a lot of people do know him from the previous season, from other games, from other realms. So coming in and being kind of quiet and assuming safety, and this round is much different than what they probably would have expected, and it would have been nice to see if he was not safe, but giving the illusion that he's good, I'm
Yeah,
fine, cool,
he's
calm,
fine.
collect.
So we'll see where Keaton's path takes him. It'll be interesting to see if he can expand on this. And so we get the team picks, and then we also get, they stop picking teams and they're like, all right, guys, time to draw some balls again.
Draw some
And
balls.
draw some balls.
I always love to draw some balls.
And you didn't want the red one, or did you? You actually did, because if you got the red ball, you were safe and you were not even in the challenge. What do you think about this twist? Kind of crazy, huh?
It was a little crazy. I think that I like whenever they change stuff up like that, it brings in a little bit of luck, and it could save someone that, I mean, Keaton doesn't win, doesn't get picked. Maybe he gets safety there. I think that it's nice to see, just because it creates a little bit more chaos in the game whenever, because I do know that Ascendance, it's set up, it's in a format where you're going to see recurring things, where some of the rounds are going to be very similar to previous seasons. People are already trying to game their game based on things that have happened in the past. So whenever we throw little wrenches in the plan, I think that it's always good to keep people on their toes. And when people are on their toes, that's when we're going to see bigger, not bigger, but better gameplay. So I like it. I like whenever there's little twists like that.
Yeah, it's something that we've never seen before. So, and we think about the round right before, Marcelo was the one person that picked the, I guess, not same colored ball as everybody else. And he was also safe and also voting at the elimination. But you would assume, are they going to do that two times in a row? And they did.
You got us.
They got me for
You know what
sure.
they say. You know what they say about us assuming.
Makes, yeah, I know what they say. But so Ali and Sarah are safe in voting at the competition at the elimination. So they get to just watch this competition. And we've all been there playing in this competition. The storytelling competition where you need to relay a story. Scott, did you play this one in season 5?
I mean, I don't know if I don't think it was in season 5, but no, I did not play. I've never played this game.
Where would you want to be if you were in the competition? Would you want to be the first person going, middle, or just answer the questions at the end?
I think that for my team, I would probably answer the questions. I'm
Same.
not, I would be so bad at I was like listening. I was like, okay, let me see what I got here. And I didn't get anything. I couldn't even tell you anything about the story now. So I think that it's nice to put me at the end because I wouldn't be good at the beginning, but also it's like, well, they didn't tell me that. So I didn't know that the answer could have been that because you never told me. So I think that I don't know. I wouldn't take too much. I mean, I wouldn't target someone if they were bad at that challenge, and I would hope that they would do the same for me.
And it seems like Rocky's team was the one that really struggles with the telephone game because it seems like Rocky just was making shit up at the end.
He was
And
pulling a Scotty and Duke, if you will.
yeah, so they lose and the other team also loses, and it's a joint elimination. A lot of people here voting because you got the captains, you got the two losing teams, and then you got the two safe people. Only 4 people not voting. So a lot of names thrown out, right? We see about 4 names thrown out over the course of the voting period. Rocky, Rory, Erica, and CJ.
Mhm.
At any point, did you feel like Rocky was the one of the names that was out there but did not receive any votes? Did you feel like he was in trouble at all?
Not really. I think that it's a testament to the game that he's playing. Whenever I heard it was him, I was like, oh, I don't want Rocky to go. And I was like, I don't think Rocky's gonna go. I think I don't remember who said it, but I think they said Emily was just pulling the names from the ether. I was like, that feels like maybe that's where it derived from. Because I think someone's like, I've heard Rocky. And I was like, well, we haven't seen anyone talking about Rocky. And everyone's like, not Rocky. So no, I wasn't too worried about his position. I think that he's sitting in a pretty good spot. So
I will say
especially
the only thing that I was worried about from when Rocky's name was coming out, it seems like Rocky in the beginning of the strategizing portion was kind of like looking upstairs for powers, whereas everybody was like talking about the vote. So that was the only concern I had at the top of the strategizing portion, where he ends up finding a power too, but he wasn't in the initial talks, it seems like.
yeah, I mean that's fair. Um, but yeah, I think that I don't know how long they actually have to talk, but I mean that could have been the only clip of him not strategizing, having the strat chats before the vote. So I wasn't worried about it, and I mean it paid off because he did find that power. So what power did he find? I feel like we saw a lot of people get powers tonight.
So we actually have a lot of powers in the game. I was looking before we got on call. We have about 7 powers in the game right now. And Rocky, he found a join a vote. So join a vote at an elimination that you're not at. But I forgot to mention at the top of the episode, we got Rory, who has a vote where I was reading it before we got on, and it is basically a public, like a public know the vote, but at a previous vote. So he gives it to production and they call everybody in from the vote that he chooses, and they have to say publicly who they voted for at that vote.
So it's a call out. He doesn't just know it, they have to reveal it.
They have to
Hmm.
say it out loud publicly in front of everyone.
I don't know. That one, I feel like that one's such a very specific power to be able to utilize in the correct way. I mean, it's something that I feel like would only be useful at a weird turning point in the game because especially now we're getting a lot of majority votes. I mean, we had like the stray CJ vote. I can't remember who voted for that, but I mean that could be an interesting thing to kind of call someone out on. So I think that it
Yeah.
would be useful, but it has to be obviously at a good vote to do it on.
And I don't know, Rory obviously doesn't know that the person that voted for CJ was Ozzy in this vote. But if he did know that, could be interesting to use that power on this vote to kind of get a little bit of tension between the two.
Yeah.
Because CJ
I
seems like the player that would want to go after Ozzy for doing that.
Oh yeah. That's something that I don't know CJ too well, just from the episodes we've watched, but that seems like an accurate statement, dude.
He
I don't
seems
think
like he was aggressive a little bit.
yeah, aggressive, and he's not going to forget about that. So
No.
I think I mean, it that actually probably is a smart move for Rory if he did play it for this specific one. If they can't figure out who voted for CJ, because Rory obviously isn't in the best spot, or so it seems. I mean, he doesn't think he's in a good spot, obviously, with how emotional he got, thinking that he was about to get voted off. So I think that that's a little that kind of tension is definitely something that he could utilize, especially because it was a vote for CJ.
Right. And so speaking of Rory, Rory
Didn't
is
they?
another
Didn't they say that Rory was the one that was throwing CJ's name out?
potentially. I don't it's whenever the clips go to Rory or Erica in the past couple episodes, it seems like Rory this was his first vote eligible to be voting, but they seem to be very like not wanting to say anything. So
Yeah, I
it
was getting. I was when I was watching Erica talk to people, I was thinking,
I was
I
like,
am.
just say something. Just say something, you know?
Spit it out. Like, tell me. Oh yeah, I think that if I was in the game, Erica would have been someone that made me feel uneasy. So I wasn't shocked whenever it started leaning her way.
Yeah. And I think the another reason why Erica, because of her tie with Keaton a little bit, it seems like people thought that they were close, whether they were or not. We don't know, but well, we kind of do know they were kind of a little bit close, right?
There's something.
Um, CJ's name was also out there, but did not get enough traction. Um, what do you make of CJ these first couple episodes? Obviously had the huge episode one, right?
Very shisty, that CJ. Shiesty CJ. He is definitely playing really hard. And I think that I could fight him. Honestly, I feel like he's already, and with his name getting thrown out a little bit this episode, I think that people are starting to take note. And he kind of reminds me, his gameplay sort of reminds me of Marvin a little bit from last season, just kind of subtle shistiness, but people are catching on a lot quicker than I think that he would assume that they were, just because I don't think that he's playing bad. But I just think that people are sniffing him out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think he's very like people are viewing him as like, okay, CJ's definitely on my side, or okay, we need to start looking at CJ because I feel like he has a close connection with um Kiara,
Mhm.
and he's got a couple of people on his side. It's just like I think the few people that are starting to catch on are going to be big players in the game, and they're not going to want him to be around that much longer.
Yeah, but I think it was Sarah was the one that was saying that he's playing very open. So that kind of threw me off because that was actually now I'm thinking back. That's definitely a different read than what I was collecting from what I thought
Yeah,
people.
you're right. She said that he was playing like very like out in front, like in your face, but like direct, I guess was the word. I don't know if she said direct, but like
Yeah,
that was the reason why she like ruled him out as somebody to vote for. It seemed like.
yeah, because Erica seems sneakier. Yeah, because he will actually say a name.
Oh, he'll say it, and he'll get it done.
Yeah, he'll say a couple.
Fucking hell, why not?
I mean, Erica could have done that, and maybe it would have helped her a little bit. It was also such an awkward moment whenever it was like the Erica, Rory, just folks standing there like, do either of you want to say a name? And I feel like they both wanted to say the other person's name, and they were just like, no. Ooh.
Yeah, it was tough to watch, man. It was tough to watch. But
Putting myself in the other people's shoes, and I was like, if I was there, I'd be like, just like giggling to myself, like, this is so incredibly uncomfortable, and I would like to leave.
let's talk about something else, though. Let's talk about Billy finding a pendant of power in the rubble on the side of the house. Kind of
Mm.
crazy. Josh was
Kind of,
there.
yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I think that it's great that he found it. I think that whenever I was doing a dive on learning about the cast, he seems like someone that was going to be searching for it, and it doesn't surprise me that he found it. I don't think that, based on the confessionals, Billy seemed semi okay with Josh being there. Josh not so great about his feeling about Billy knowing that he found it. I'm like, that feels like it'll be some trouble in the future for Billy, because Josh is not going to forget about it, first of all. And second of all, I don't think that Josh is someone that is going to be scared of telling others and making a move to oust him without him getting to play it.
Right. Um, what do you think about just Billy having it in his possession? Do you think that this is a case where he's gonna have it and like want to play it pretty soon, kind of get a little antsy, get a little power hungry, and want to make a big move soon? He kind of gives me the vibe that that might be the route he wants to go with it.
I can definitely see it. I don't know Billy really at all, but I feel like he's the type of player where it's going to feel like it's burning a hole in his pocket. So I could definitely see him in the next few rounds just being like, "Oh, I feel safe, but let's shake some stuff up here." But he also seems like the type of player that it would be selfish with an idol, knowing. I feel like because Josh knows, I feel like he'll be a little bit more open to playing it. But I think that if he had it on his own, he would be a little bit more selfish with it.
Right.
But
Let's
I think that I'll play it sooner.
yeah. Let's talk about some of the other players that were at the elimination that were their names weren't going around, right? Taylor, fan favorite of yours, fan favorite of a lot of people. No, her name was not brought up at once. Ozzy's name wasn't brought up. Marcelo. Are these guys just killing it right now?
I was actually laughing when I don't remember who she was talking to. I think it was Marcelo actually and Taylor, and she was like, "I haven't heard your name at all." And then she like in like a passing comment, like just kind of throw away. She's like, "You haven't heard mine, right?" Like she was in my mind, she's probably like, "I know, I'm good." Like, but yeah, I feel like Marcelo's been playing a really great game as well. He's very, I mean, he's an actor.
He
It
is.
wasn't one, so I mean, he has that going for him.
He's acting real
Um,
well.
he's acting cool, calm, collected. I think that he is. I think that he has a good awareness of what's going on, and he realizes that he doesn't need to be doing much at this moment. Someone else that's like that is AJ. I think AJ is waiting to like get going, but
He's
he's smart.
antsy. He's getting antsy. He's getting antsy. It seems like.
But he's just like, I don't want to jump in if I don't have to. And I think that Ozzy, I feel like it was more toward the beginning, but you could see him having the one-on-ones and connections and doing a very good job of elite of just assuring people that like we're good and just like giggling with them. And you could see that he was building rapport, and that makes sense to me that he wasn't getting targeted at all.
Yeah, I think he's doing a great job of like being direct with like what he intends on doing and what he is actually thinking. And I think it's coming off as very genuine to people, whereas like a lot of the other people are like very not wanting to say anything and like a little bit jittery. Yeah. So it's like he's just like not that, and he's just being direct and saying exactly what he's thinking, which is I think working very well for him.
Yeah, I don't know if he's played other games like this before, but if he has, then his experience is shining through, and if he hasn't, then he's just really natural at delivering his truth. Yeah, I think that he's playing. He's one of the top people in my mind right now, and who's socially doing the best.
Yeah. And you mentioned AJ. AJ was giving us some live confessionals, telling us what he was thinking. AJ is the only person that has not been to a vote yet, at this point through now 3 rounds. But you still feel good about AJ, right?
Yeah, because he's making it apparent in his confessionals that everything in him wants to start getting the ball rolling, really jump into the game and be playing, but he's holding himself back from doing it. And I think that that's probably a smart move, because he does seem like he is making connections regardless of whether they're voting or not. So I think that when it comes time to vote, I think that he has set up himself in a way that he'll still be okay, rather than someone that was hanging back too much. He's
Yeah.
hanging back strategically, but he's making his inroads.
Yeah.
Inroads.
And so those are about all the people that were, those are about everybody that was in the vote. I think Emily is somebody that we didn't touch on, but we kind of mentioned that she was in a conversation where she kind of just said Rocky and then said that she kind of heard Rocky to other people, but it didn't really get the ball moving.
I think
Um,
Emily a little bit, and she just makes me nervous. I feel like I feel like the worst thing that could have happened to her in this game happened to her with her being so in the front so early. Because I don't think that she doesn't have the personality to reel it back in. She's a big personality in general, and now she's a vocal point in the game. So those two things together, I feel like it's going to be really tough for her to I mean, I don't think that she's going to be able to like camouflage anything moving forward. So I think that she is going to start being in people's mouths when it comes down to the vote. I think that her name is a natural name that is going to start coming up.
she does, however, have the first ever Ascendance advantage,
Mm.
which grows stronger with the day. Not sure. I think we're on day 2 probably here. So it's gotten a little bit stronger and it could turn into a full pendant.
Yeah. The Kelly Clarkson idol. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
I didn't know what that meant, but thank you for explaining.
That's why I explained it.
Appreciate you.
Got you. Yeah,
Uh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think that I could really see her not playing that power and having to give it to someone else after she's been voted off.
You think you don't think that when we get back to her that her name was out there?
I mean, I guess it could, but I don't know. My prediction is that she's gonna have to give it up.
All
Does
right, you
anyone
heard.
know that?
No, not that we know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely not great at guessing, so hopefully she doesn't have to, but that's my prediction.
That's his prediction. Okay, cool. Well, let me think about anything else on the top of my head that we haven't covered. What anything throughout the season that you want to talk about so far, Scott, or have we
Mm,
covered it all?
I think that I don't see a lot of there's not a big division. I feel like there's a lot of floating relationships and it's not there's not really I feel like last season there was like the group of four with Drew, Taisha, like Zoe, like that group of four and
Thomas.
yes. So like that group of four was something that was really established. And then there
Yeah.
was another side of the house. So there was a lot of more lines in the sand per se, and I feel like we're not seeing that as much. I'm not sure if it's just too early to kind of see a strong delineation throughout the group, so that makes it a little bit more unpredictable. And I think that people are pretty keeping pretty close to the chests, and so I think that the game is still needing to be cracked open. The names get thrown out, and they just kind of stick with it. Like Erica and Rory tonight, it was like the smart players are there, and they're like, "Oh, I don't need to shift anything." So I think that we haven't really seen a lot of people's gaming side come out yet. So I think that it's there too. I think that we're just something's gonna happen and it's gonna crack open and it's gonna get a little bit wild from there. That's kind of where I see this season going.
What do you think has to happen for this to crack open, for the game to crack open?
Mm.
We probably have to get rid of Keaton, right? Because
I don't know. Maybe I mean, it's tough because if Keaton is going, maybe he just picks another name and that's like the new name. There's just like a domino effect, sort of maybe. And I think that I don't know what needs to happen, but I think that it's like a Pandora's box. Like once it's cracked, there's no going back. So I don't know what needs to happen, but I feel like with the next episode or two, things are gonna start getting a little bit more. We're gonna be able to see where this is headed a lot more clear.
yeah, we don't have any we don't have like there's no front runner to win the game right now. We don't have an alliance that is strong holding anything. It is really early, but this is probably the most fluid start of live that we've seen for sure.
Yeah, which makes it interesting. But I feel like that you can feel it in the air that these people want to play and they're waiting for their moment and it's coming.
And like I said, we got 7 powers out there.
Yeah, the power, the domino effect. One gets played and then all six of them do.
All seven at once.
Yeah,
Jeez.
maybe they all stand up at the same time and like look around. Except
Well,
Emily, because she's like not playing it according to my prediction.
we'll have to see. Um, let me get a quick. Who do you think is going to win the game, and who do you think is going to get voted out next?
Okay, win the game. Oh, I don't want to even say that just because I'm biased, but I do. I feel very strongly that Taylor is playing a great game. So I'm gonna pick Taylor as my number one winner pick. But if I didn't pick Taylor, just so it's not a
Yeah,
complete,
throw a second one in there. Throw a second one in there.
I I don't know. I really am impressed with Sarah right now. Sarah and Ozzy both, like I said at the beginning, but Sarah just I can feel her comforting others in these votes. And maybe it was just because she's safe this episode, but I feel like those two girls are definitely my front runners. As far as who's gonna get voted off next, give me a second. I don't I want to pick someone other than the obvious choice here. I don't it's tough because I don't think that Rory had a very strong showing this episode. And I could definitely see, I'm going to say either Keaton or Rory. I feel like it's kind of a safe guess, but both of them didn't. I feel like they have not been doing a great job at just nicely deflecting their name. Keaton has gone crazy, which he seemingly felt like he had to get to survive. That's not great moving into the next round. And Rory is he was just all over the place emotionally tonight, and I feel like that's for me. If I was there, I'd be like, I would feel bad voting you off. So I feel like I need to do it now rather than deeper when it gets a little bit harder. So those one of those two.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. The next episode is next Thursday, obviously.
Do you have
I
your
should
predictions ready?
my winner pick. If I were to pick right now for a winner, I would go. I like AJ. I think AJ has. We haven't got to see him in a vote, but he's definitely thinking about what he would do if he were at a vote. I think nobody's thinking about AJ. Everybody kind of likes AJ. And a couple of the other people I feel like are like they're playing well, but like I could see people like seeing them playing well and want to go after them sooner rather than later, as opposed to AJ. I don't think anybody is really talking about him. And I'm gonna throw out somebody other than Rory or Keaton here because I do think Rory can have somewhat of a redemption. I just feel like this first elimination that he was attending, he was like in shock a little bit. And I
Maybe
hope
let the
that
jitters out. Jitters are
yeah,
there's the butterflies are flown away.
there was a lot of stuff that was thrown at him. He got the power. He had that big high there with the power, and then like he's like really nervous, and he was put on the spot. So I'm hoping that jitters are out and he recovers. So I am going to say the next person voted out is going to be CJ. I think people are gonna people are clocking him. I think a little bit more. His name was a little bit out there. He got a vote. And I feel like if he goes and he's been at the first three eliminations, so like it's been a tough draw for him.
Running out of hiding spaces. And yeah, maybe Rory plays that advantage and rewrites the history of the game.
You'll have to see next Thursday.
Yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat.
I can't wait. Scott, thank you as always for coming back on. And we'll have to try to catch up another time during the jury portion.
All right. I'm excited. Can't wait for it.